I've read it somewhere that a country only grows when its women grow. Throughout the years, we have seen how society continues to evolve and how it sees and treats women. Though some communities progress rather slowly, like in India, traditionally women were told to follow a certain path, finish their studies, get married, start a family, and that's the end of it. This Women's Month, we're going to give you a special episode of sTUdio, or sincere TaskUs discussions and insightful opinions, where we will dive deeper into lived experiences of women at TaskUs. How do they break stereotypes? How do they push boundaries? How do they remove labels? And how do they live the true empowerment inside and outside workplace? Welcome to our first episode of sTUdio. Beautiful, smart, and strong ladies. So, I would like to ask you, is there a woman in your life who inspires you every day?
I think I have quite an obvious answer to this because, of course, as women, we all tend to look at our mothers maybe as, as young girls, you'd want to dress up like your mother, talk like her, and maybe, follow your grandmother and the ladies in the family. But I guess there's another person who really created a positive impact on my life, a doctor. She was a family friend, and I really was, quite moved with her style of working. She would talk, encouraging words to other women that would visit her, and then she would say that you do not have to really restrict yourself to be a homemaker, but rather go beyond and probably educate your young girls and your children that way so that they go out and make a mark in their career ahead.
My support pillar is my mother. She's been there for me through thick and thin. And the most important thing that I have got from her is the quick resolution to any crunch situation. That is something that I always admire of hers, and I always try to get that positive impact on me.
My role model again is my mother, because I would say that from a very early age, she actually taught us the importance of having a choice. I grew up in an academic family, and my grandmother, she was a principal of a high school. So all the women in her family, all her colleagues, they all used to work in a very high positions. However, she decided on a very early stage that she wants to be a homemaker. She wanted to look after her children and her family.
All right, looks like moms are the limelight of the day. I always love hearing different stories of women, how we inspire each other, because women have their own challenges. Let's face it, as we see around us, society, or rather, there are stratas of society where we see that women are not seen as equal of men. Be it within the families, at workplace, and the way we serve our communities, right? Given this, how was your experience growing up? And now that you are a professional, did you ever see that society does not see you as equal to your male counterparts, be it at workplace, outside workplace? Would you want to share any of those stories?
Talking about childhood, I really wanted to learn how to bike, and I had my other siblings, and my grandmother just pushed everyone that, okay, yes, they can probably learn that, but she never allowed me, to actually learn how to do biking. And that's something that I really regret, that probably because I was a girl child, that's why she didn't allow me to do so. And she thought that that's not something that's meant for girls to learn or for women to learn, and that has to be, more of the home basic to-do jobs that she wanted me to really pursue and learn. But here I am, probably into a different professional where we are, equally performing in with men. In my past organization, I stayed back for certain engagement activities that I wanted to be covered for the night shift employees. And one of my male co-workers, he would always comment, don't you have to go back home and, actually cook for your family or maybe serve your kids dinner? And I would be like, it's okay, I have people back home to manage that. Probably my husband is doing that already for my family. There are those, remarks that, try to put down your momentum as a woman if you're trying to really do something that you feel is a part of your job. So I think these little experiences are something that I still have in my memory, which made me realize that yes, I am a woman and I'm not supposed to be, working this way or differently.
A few years ago, while having my son's admission in school, there was one question that actually the principal threw at me. Knowing that I was a single mother, a single parent, would you be able to provide all the needs and necessities for your son single-handedly? That was shocking. I was fine with it. That was not the first time. I was confident and I told him, why not?
yes, of course, I will be able to.
First of all, thank you so much for sharing your own experiences. And let me tell you, it takes a lot of courage to come out and talk about these. Talking about my own personal experience, I think when I was a kid, one of the things that was always there in my mind is what I wanted to do and what my family expected from me was very different. Women are expected, finish your studies, just get married, settle down. For them, that was about settling down is just getting married and start your family. For me, my ambitions were very, very different from there. And I think that's where you had your first battle that you had to fight and really come out of it. I was glad I was able to really pursue it, and then even more glad that got a life partner who was able to share those dreams with me, right? But it didn't stop there. Even at workplace also, as Akanksha rightly mentioned, the passing remarks that keep coming to you. One is on the emotional side of it, you do not like it, but over a period of time, you learn how to overcome it, right? So yeah, that's part and parcel of life, and once you start seeing that happening around you, you got to find your ways to fight with it. In relation to women at workplace, I was looking at the data, and India has more employable workforce in terms of women than men at a rate of 53%. Which is really surprising because India's diversity ratio is much, much lesser than men. At TaskUs India, across all our sites, 39% of our workforce comprises of women with 32% leaders on board. That's such a great figure in comparison to industry sitting at a 17% in India. I'm really glad that in India we are able to provide those forums, those opportunities to women, not only to come and join the organization, but to grow within the organization. So the focus on gender diversity has been one of my personal goals, and I'm really glad we are making strides there. Still a long journey to go. We're still not 50-50, and that's where we aspire to be at. Why do you think, as for you, it's important that we hire more women? And why do we think there has to be a gender balance in the workplace?
I guess the answer to that would be we want other women to follow. There are still women who are holding back in themselves that, I cannot reach to the top. We have such a huge workforce as women teammates, and then we would want them to follow and look up to women leaders. We want the presence of women to be felt in an organization. We are equally important. We're not somebody who are just there to sit back home and manage psychologies or as a mother or a homemaker. We want the women to front lead there. There are always two sides to it, and we really want that to come in focus.
When skill is shared same way for women and men, why not give same focus and advantage to both the genders? Because as we know that woman definitely brings softness and empathy and the touch that we all need in life. Men of course treats everything aggressively and go-getter type. So there has to be a balance in between both. So equal participation is important.
I think what I'm going to say is gonna contradict a little. So here I would like to say one thing that we always heard about this human touch, which I struggle a little to understand because I think men employees are equally as human as we are, and they too have the human touch. And there is this other thing that women employee have, a more caring nature, and these are natural traits, right? So men employees, for example, they are like, some people say they are more aggressive, they are the providers, they are the protectors. But all these things that we are talking about are natural traits, right? So when we are at working place, I see no men going to hunting or providing any food or providing any shelter. So we all do it like the natural traits, we all practice it, cultivate it, but to our personal lives with our loved ones. But when we are at the workplace, we are talking business. When it comes to workplace, men and women, we equally work like professionals, right? So yeah, again, coming back to why hiring more female employees in the industry, because I think they are equally educated and skilled and highly eligible.
Taking a cue from what these wonderful ladies had to talk about, the diversity piece, right? One of the things TaskUs has been very focused on is our diversity hiring practices. Right from a hiring stage, how do we really enforce that our job applications have and equal opportunity given to both the genders, or rather all genders. Even when we talk about our internal job promotions or the process around it, usually the team is focused that the applications have equal amount of participation from all genders who work with us. In your previous workplaces, or when you might have started your career from your professional lives, have you always seen leadership diversity or gender diversity given this kind of importance?
In my previous organization, in a team of 17 members, I was the only lady. So that, I would say, has changed, because now I see, if I talk about in a 17-member team, I would see at least 7.
That's amazing.
Since we are talking about women diversity, and I am from operations, I want to share that in the past I've seen few female employees in the leadership role. However, nowadays, like in TaskUs, I've seen that there are so many people in leadership role. Like here I have with me Rima, she's also an operation manager. I'm here an operation manager, and we have many team leaders reporting to us, and they are women as well. So definitely the number has increased, and which is a very good thing.
Yeah, I would say that rather a decade back, people would not even look at, having a balance in their organization. I came from an industry which is more into recruitment, and then when I joined that organization, there were no restrooms meant for women in the office, and it was very surprising for people to really know that a woman has actually joined this workplace and is going to be here. And now I think what's the beauty of this industry is that we're more welcoming. We really want to hire female employees. We really want to just leave their comfort zone and come out and work with us. We are more welcoming in terms of having a gender balance. And I think that's what we really need now. It's quite important to really have women leaders, and I truly really believe in that, looking at you as one of our women leaders, Sapna, because I think what a women leader would actually bring to the table to an organization would be, of course, the power that she has in herself, the empathy that she carries in her behavior, on her natural trait, as well as the persistence.
As a woman leader, what is your role in the organization? What do you see or observe around you as women making a difference or leaving an impact?
As a woman leader, we encourage a lot of other ladies to join in, and we also encourage their family to understand and believe that yes, my daughter is in safe hand. There are ladies who work there, ladies as their supervisors, who are equally working as my daughter or as my girl. So there's nothing to worry, even if it's a night shift or a graveyard shift, whatever shift it is, they are safe.
When the data states that there are more employable women, when you read the studies that in academics women have been leading, it's been for years, right? If you look at the performance charts of women in universities in India, they will always be on top. Why not at workplace? Why would it that at some point in time during their lives, they would choose to sacrifice their career to take care of the house? The idea is, how can we as an organization, how can we as a women encourage, empower, create an ecosystem to get more women in the organization? There are certain benefits that TaskUs India has invested into, like on-site daycare, like the leave policies have been really strengthened when it is about touching important events of someone's life. What is your favorite benefit?
If I have to really pick and choose, I would definitely go with the daycare facility that we have at TaskUs. And my job role, actually, there are times that I can work from home. But for days when I'm required to be on site, I know I can bring my children along and put them at the daycare facility, and they would be safe, and I really do not have to bother what is it that they're doing back home alone.
My personal one is the scholarship program, where every employee gets to benefit up to a certain amount, up to 2 kids, their education fees. That's something which is wonderful.
Since we are talking about all the benefits that we have as TaskUs employees, I would definitely bring in the academy courses that we have, because I myself have benefited a lot from there. Currently, I am an operation manager, and we have an academy course that is Operation Manager Academy program. And like when I started preparing for the next role, I had really very less idea about finance. However, this particular course actually helped me to get a better picture of how finance really work in this industry.
Thank you so much for sharing your favorite ones. And I think that has been one of the big goals. When we launched in India, after Philippines was already an established region, we had proven ourselves with our ridiculously amazing culture, right? It was like, can we replicate the same thing in India? What are the needs of people living in India? We look at their well-being needs. How do you take care of employees as well as their loved ones and create benefits around that? And that's where a lot of ideas came through, starting from not only providing the government mandated health benefits, but also providing the private medical insurance, not only limited to employees, but their families. Because in India, it's people are also responsible for their parents. When we talk about our diversity, equality, and inclusion, we have included all genders, gaining from our medical insurance policies. There are gender reassignment surgeries which are covered. There are fertility treatments which are covered. There are maternity benefits which are covered. And I think gradually, as we are progressing, every year, there is an inclusion into our benefits, so that we touch every important life of our employees. Do these benefits make you feel more empowered?
Yes, I would say the benefits do empower me as a person to perform my job duties, because I know that I do not have that fear at the back of my mind that I need to be worried about my family, because all the benefits that I have, that I'm getting at TaskUs, do cover whatever I need for my loved ones.
These are wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing these. And I'm really glad that you have taken advantage of all the benefits around us.
I have a question for you, Sapna, being one of our leaders, of course. What do you think that the other organizations or the society should be doing towards making it a safer and nurturing workspace for women and maybe for all its employees, irrespective of their gender?
I think one of the big change, as we all say, right? Change begins with you. Change has to begin from here. Breaking the stereotypes also starts from when I break the barriers from my mindset itself and ask myself, first of all, am I completely invested into or believe into diversity, equality, and inclusion? Do I believe into gender equality, right? Do I respect every gender? And I think once we get there, it's very easy, and also learning it from around us, right? There are so many role models, there are so many examples around us that tells us that women and men, and talking about all the genders, right, bring their own touch, be it into their personal lives or their professional lives. And I think the society or the community runs on a balance. You need that balance in workplace. It's high time people need to start bringing in that change.
Agree.
Thank you so much, Devulina, Rima, and Akanksha. It was so great to have this conversation with all three of you. And thanks for sharing your thoughts. You made me learn so many things today, how to make this workplace even better. And I really loved the insights that came out of the discussion.
Thanks for having us.
Women's success is a company's and society's success. I think we have a long way to go, and each one of us can be a great ally to empowering women and the magic that they can bring to the table. To my fellow women, we have endless boundaries to push, many battles to win, and a lot that you can contribute. This is Sapna Bhambani. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you at the next episode of TaskUs Studio, where sincere TaskUs discussions and insightful opinions happen.